One of the things that really strikes me, I've just finished editing and translating Gregory of Nyssa's work on the human image of God, or on the making of the human being. One of the things that really strikes me with Irenaeus and with Gregory, with Origen in his own way, and I think pretty universal in the early church, is that in all of their reflection upon what it is to be human, the time of being human, the history of being human, and all of those kind of questions, they take as, if you like, the primary point of reference what is actually real. What is actually real is we come into existence through an act of sexual intercourse, conceived in the womb, we grow in the womb. It's Gregory of Nyssa. Gregory of Nyssa divides life into three different categories, or animation into three different categories. There's a vegetative animation, there's sensitive animation, and there's rational animation. Yeah, and its way of classifying. You've got different things. You've got a rock and a plant. They're both material entities. The plant has got the power of growth and nutrition. You've got a cat and a dog or whatever else. It's got the power of sense perception. You've got human beings which contain material existence, growth and nutrition, power of sense perception, rationality, and then virtue, as Christ has shown it to be. Different kind of categorizations of animation. But what is most concretely real in all of that is, as I said, we come into existence through conception in the womb, and there we grow. We grow by the power of growth and nutrition, as a plant does. We then, when we are big enough to sustain bodily existence independently, we come out into this sense-perceptible world, where again we grow. There's simply growth involved. And that growth is walking, talking, learning to see, whatever, all those kind of things. And then as we continue to grow, we start to learn virtue, or we try to start to learn virtue, or we start to learn to behave ourselves once we learn a bit of self-control. It is simply, that is what is concretely real. That's how it is. That's human life. We grow, and so they are seeing the whole of the economy as a process of growth. So Gregory of Nyssa, with those three stages of life, he points out that's actually what Moses is doing in Genesis 1. He's teaching us a pattern of growth. He says the way that nature, nature's the active one here, nature makes the ascent, A-S-C, the ascent, the growth, from the lower forms of life to the higher. So Moses starts off with, the world, then vegetation, then animals, then the human being. It's a process of growth. So they see the whole of the economy patterned really after the pattern of growth that we see in ourselves. Now they were doing that way before modern theories of evolution. But modern theories of evolution, not necessarily Darwinian, but just the way that the world cosmological development also does that. You had the earth, and eventually you start to get life forms which manifest themselves as plants, and then eventually you start to get other kinds of life forms growing in all of that, and eventually you come to human beings. So it's a natural evolution that's going on in all of that. They will also pattern it, the whole process from Adam to Christ, the whole process of the natural world. They'll pattern upon the 7 stages of human life, of human existence. Coming into existence, growing, developing, becoming an infant, then an adolescent, then a young adult, then a mature adult, and finally death. 7 stages of life. So they're all looking like that. I think the kind of question of why not perfection from the beginning is actually really kind of bizarre. In a sense, it's kind of what question are we seeking to answer by asking that? That's not the way things are. Just straightforwardly. So, but you do get kind of counterfactual speculation in all of this. So Irenaeus will say, yes, God could have created us perfect from the beginning, but we wouldn't have been able to sustain it. Paul makes a distinction between milk and meat. You're still young, I'm giving you milk. To the perfect, I give meat. Well, Irenaeus says, of course a mother could put meat in the mouth of a newborn infant? Of course she could. It's not going to benefit the infant anything. They got to grow. They got to drink milk for a period of time and then learn to eat more solid food and all the rest of it. It's simply a process of growth. And that's what we see all the time all around us.